Hey YouTube, so now I'm going to talk about something esoteric that I've been thinking about a lot on this channel, which is Christ consciousness. Because when I turned 30 and I hit my Saturn return, I experienced a lot of traumatic things back to back. It was COVID, the world was going through a global trauma, and COVID kind of brought out the worst in people, and it made my anxiety go through the roof. And I didn't realize that I was getting tapped into Christ consciousness. I had people I had known for years turn on me, and I started to feel anxiety, and I was starting to buy like healing crystals and watching meditation videos to treat my anxiety. And I had people around me that weren't into it. Was basically the beginning of my spiritual journey, and I had people around me that were religious but they weren't spiritual, so they didn't understand why I was collecting crystals. Like, I went to the Renaissance Festival and I picked out 5 wealth crystals, and I went from making like 12 an hour to 17 an hour. And so I learned how to manifest. But I do believe, and I had a lot of haters. So I had people being like, stop doing stuff with rocks, don't burn sage. And I just was getting, I didn't know it at the time, but I was waking up spiritually and I was getting persecuted. So that's why I wanted to come on here and talk about Christ consciousness, because at the beginning of my journey, after I had a fallout from a toxic relationship, I got a class. I got an email about a class, 70% off, and it teaches you how to do angel oracle readings. And the first lesson was Christ consciousness or Buddha consciousness. So basically, from a spiritual esoteric standpoint, from the spiritual mindset, you acknowledge that there's like, you have to learn to read energy, but also that there's a spirit in everything. And the Japanese are really good about that. They believe that there's a chi or ki life force in everything. And if you believe that there's a life force in everything, you'll treat it as sacred. And so I started, like, when I started this journey, I had people I've known for years turn on me. I had a stalker, and people were scared of me that I had known for years. It's like they flipped the switch just because one person was digging up dirt on me and stalking me. Like, there was no consequences, it seemed, for the person that was doing it, but everybody just believed them and gained up, and they were joining in on the persecution. It was really, that's what it was. I didn't know at the time. And I saw, after I had that experience, I saw the game Diablo, the preview for Diablo 4, the female necromancer. She goes into a different town, and the townspeople started closing doors and they were running, they were scared. And that's how it feels when you have spiritual gifts, because I believe I got awakened to Christ consciousness. Like, I took the Angel Oracle class and it talked about Christ consciousness or Buddha consciousness. And there's a scripture, John 15:18. If the world hates you, remember that it hated me first. So if you have people persecuting you on this spiritual journey, people hating you, just remember it's a sign that you're tapped into Christ consciousness. I'm trying to find that other article I was pulling up, because I have to do research on these. But yeah, so if you see people persecuting you, like, and I was getting more, my anxiety was through the roof, to the point where I checked myself into therapy. That's another sign. You get more sensitive to things of the spirit world, and you can pick up energies and demonic entities and people and demonic personalities. Like, these people I had known for years, they were ganging up on me, and the hatred in their voice, like I knew it was demons, because they were saying negative stuff like "you're being rude," and their tone of voice was terrifying, and my anxiety was already getting up there because I was waking up spiritually. Then like God was showing me like, hey, these are not the right people to be around. They started to get really unpleasant, and like when you're vibrating higher and you're waking up spiritually, it will irritate low vibrational people's demons. Toxic people, they will see it and they will hate you, and you want it. It's not that you even did anything wrong, because Christ was a tortured soul. He didn't do anything wrong, and people hated him. They hated the Christ in him. They hated the divine in him. And the only way you can get out demons is fasting. Because when I was at the end of that toxic relationship and they were being really mean, and I felt alone and afraid because everyone had turned on me, I had no appetite at one point, and I was fasting. And Jesus fasted a lot. He said that some demons can only be removed through prayer and fasting. And I'm dealing with that now. Like my own brother that I had been trying to help, he like somebody did something nasty to him, and he wasn't even mad at the person that did something nasty to him, that turned on him and stole from him. He was mad at me. I was talking to him on the phone, and I told him that person's poison, and he kept saying, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, like speaking death over me. And that's really painful. Like your own family, like my whole life, my own family hasn't really even been there for me, and my own parents. I've had to be independent. Like when you're tapped into this Christ consciousness, it's not an easy journey. Hold on.